Caddo Superintendent Dr. Lamar Goree. A crazy week, it's just to put it bluntly.
And it's only Monday.
Virtual school all this week for Caddo Parish. You are still having issues with water, I guess, is the big problem, right?
Right. Good morning. We are still having issues with water in two ways. Of course, as our city thaws out, we're finding water bursts in many of our schools. And remember, we're operating a fleet of schools with an average age of over 60 years. So when it freezes, pipes burst. But on top of that, we still are without water service at many of our schools, too.
Doc, just to clarify, you were not scheduled to be in school today. The virtual is tomorrow through Friday. Have I got that right?
Correct. If you look, last week our schedule was Monday to Wednesday was our winter break. So we really nailed it this year. It was truly winter. I don't think anyone left their house the entire break. But today we did choose to go to a no school day to give us an opportunity again to assess everything on campus and also give us time for the city to restore water service. But I think even more importantly, to give our teachers an opportunity to kind of gather themselves around shifting to virtual for the rest of the week, but also around those basic things such as washing clothes and dishes, things that we have not been able to do. In fact, I don't have water in my house as we speak yet.
Just not to get way off track, but between coronavirus and winter and snow and whatever it happens to be, just not knowing what you're going to do maybe for the rest of the week or next week, or how crazy is that making you and the administrators and the principals and the teachers and the parents and probably the kids?
Well, I tell you, COVID certainly did prepare us for snowvid, as we're calling it. And, I think that we're at a time, we talk about these events as happening only once in a century, but I think we know that day is coming. So I do believe the whole COVID pandemic did prepare us as school leaders to be very agile and very flexible in what we have to do. If you think about it, if we go back 365 days from now, the thought of shifting to virtual would have truly blown our mind. And understand, there's still some challenges with that thought. But I do believe we as a system, as educators throughout the country, are much more prepared to deal with the emergencies as they come about.
How are you dealing with those who depend on the schools for food? What's the plan for this week?
So that is a problem, because one of the main issues why we cannot, why we chose to go virtual is that, remember, even as our water is restored, our community will be on a water boil alert. And based on information I'm receiving from the city, that's probably going to last throughout the week. So that does limit our abilities to prepare food on the campuses. So we won't be providing any services this week in the area of food. But again, if there is a true need, a family can always contact your principal, and we'll work to make whatever accommodations we can. But on a system-wide level, we're not able to provide food this week.
Wow. Okay, shifting gears. Teachers, school staff, etc., now eligible as of today for the COVID vaccine. How many, what percentage of Caddo folks have decided they're going to get it?
You know what I'll tell you is it started off about a month ago at about 50%, but the number is growing by the day. So excited that we've already been communicating over the weekend with our staff around some of those first opportunities. And we do also look forward to working very closely with Dr. Vancheri and his team, with Oshners, and looking to really speed up the number of people that we get vaccinated this week. So some very incredible opportunities coming for our teachers and for our staff around getting vaccinated. But I do think we'll end up at about 75% is what I think.
Do you have a number? Do you have a percentage of vaccinated teachers in mind? Do you have a number? Do you have a number in your head where you can say no more virtual school?
No, I don't. And we will have virtual school for the rest of this year. I even think as we go into next year, we're going to have models of virtual just for the mere fact we know children won't be vaccinated. I think the way we modify that to be more successful is what will be important.
But Doc, pardon me, Doc, if the teachers have been vaccinated and the kids who are virtually all asymptomatic don't need to be why would you still need virtual?
I think you're still not going to get to 100% of the people to be vaccinated, the teachers. I think that a part of just the whole, even parents, because remember, students have a choice now whether to come or to go. There are parents that are still going to not feel comfortable sending their children until we know we're at some form of herd immunity. I do think, too, that one of the advantages of this opportunity is that we have learned that virtual does work for some students at some grade levels, and how we build that model, I think, is what's going to be important. And what I will say is that we're going to build our model as we go into next year so that it does provide the minimum level of stress on our teachers. And we're certainly receiving that feedback and building the model as such. As you know, Robert, we've had a virtual school in our district for the last 4 years. How we expand upon that and utilize that to provide virtual instruction is where my team is working today.
What's the answer for those parents who both work, and particularly for this week, and I guess, for the virtual too? What are they doing to solve that, of leaving the children at home for school? It seems like we're missing something in the education process, because, if I leave my children at home, they're not going to jump on and get into school. You are keeping track of it, right?
Absolutely. And again, one thing I want parents to understand is that this is certainly an emergency situation. If you look at our ability to provide quality drinking water and water to cook food for 37,000 students plus 5,000 employees. If you look at the situation that most of our toilets don't flush today and probably won't tomorrow, we're not assured of that yet. When you look at the number of leaks, this is an emergency situation. And in that respect, our staff will be very flexible with families. As far as what to do is to just do your very best and make sure at the end of the day you can say you gave this week your all. Again, as we've done all year, there'll be a need for remediation and opportunities for students to, recover anything that they've missed. But it's not a free week. We will do it now or we'll do it later. But we're going to have to continue the education process.